And with a fight to remove statues of Confederate soldiers who fought for the right to keep slaves. But events in Charlottesville last year turned violent. White nationalists fought running battles with counter-protesters in scenes that shocked the world. When one member of the so-called alt-right drove his car into a crowd, 32-year-old Heather Heyer was killed.
I'm training the next generation of activists, advocates, and allies.
In the years since, Susan Brough established a foundation in her daughter's name and remains committed to fighting racial intolerance. Her wish is that her daughter's sacrifice will not be forgotten.
The hope that I have for the future is that I see more people waking up. I see more people taking a stand, old and young, not just young. So oftentimes change is driven by the young and the old don't buy into it. I'm seeing more cross-generational awakening. That gives me hope.
Over the last 12 months, Charlottesville's been through a lot of soul-searching. The Confederate statues still stand, and some here blame last year's tragic events on external forces. Others, though, say what happened is a reflection of a city still dealing with racism.
Yeah, it feels like I'm not included in the narrative of my town.
Associate Professor and Black Lives Matter activist Ghislaine Schmidt says Charlottesville needs to address its past and own up to persistent problems.
This was an extreme example, physically violent example of the white supremacy which pervades every day. As I mentioned, we have problems with affordable housing, with stop and frisk, all these sorts of things. So the white supremacy is here, and it's been here for a long time.
Most of the reporters at Charlottesville's local newspaper covered last year's events. Night editor Mark Newton says the only positive change is the damage done to the so-called alt-right movement.
But it seems like there's a lot of disarray. Charlottesville did a lot of damage to their kind of credibility and their ability to form.
A year later, this city is still reeling from events that tarnished its reputation as the happiest city in America. Dozens of officials resigned after last year and new leadership is in place, but deep scars remain.